making sure nobody's in crowds. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
How has it affected you personally? First, personally, and then with your boxing career, how has all the shutdowns and whatnot affected you? To be affected you?
I mean, well, the gym is closed, but I'm just trying to stay positive through everything. I mean, the only difference is I can't go to the boxing gym and train with my teammates, but I still been going out and running, doing workouts. My wife is actually a boxer, so we've been working out together, holding pads for each other. Um, I still been working. I actually been staying busy working,
What do you do?
training,
What do you do
spending
if you don't
time with
mind me
my wife.
asking?
Well, actually, I got laid off from my actual job, but I'm just a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out looking for other jobs, and obviously there's a high demand for disinfecting jobs. So I've been doing a lot of that just on the side, disinfecting, and then yeah, just working out, spending time with my wife. That's what I've been doing.
I call boxers fear. I call boxers fearless. You got to be pretty fearless I mean, to do something like that where no
Yeah.
one's, he wants to go out anywhere to be near anyone or anything that could, be carrying the virus or anything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I
Um,
guess you could say that.
I mean, it's something like your boxing mentality. I mean,
Yeah.
for not force you, but gives you that mentality to take on
Have
a
no
job
fear.
like that. So
For sure.
tell us a little bit about yourself. How you got into boxing, why you got into boxing, what age, amateur career. Tell us about you know the uh, the the beginnings of Jessica Camara's boxing career.
Sure. Well, I started training when I was 19 years old, and the reason why I started was because at the age of 17, I lost a family member really close to me, my godmother, to cancer, and because of that, I started to get really angry and get into fights at school. So I was introduced to a boxing gym, and I went there and I just tried a fitness boxing class, and I just felt like it released a lot of negative energy inside of me. And I just continued with it, and I found it was a way to just express myself. And I just became obsessed. I stayed late at the gym all the time. I wanted to learn and get better. And within short of a year, I was competing. And I was at first I first started in Kitchener, Ontario, actually. And I was in a small boxing organization, amateur organization called the OBA. So there wasn't that many people, and they weren't involved with the IABA, so there was no nationals. They had like golden gloves. So I mean, for the first couple of years, I was getting fights, but then after that, I was just fighting the same girls over and over again. So it got to a point where I had to move on from there. So I decided to join into Boxing Ontario. So I moved to Toronto, trained there full time, and my main goal there was to fight in the nationals and win the nationals. So I had to go through all the qualifying tournaments, provincials, Golden Gloves, and all that. And I won all those tournaments. Went to nationals, won nationals. I won nationals in 2014, and I didn't find I had too much opportunity to fight internationally on the national team. So from there, I decided I wanted to turn pro, and turning pro was my main goal. I knew I wanted to turn pro and have a professional career. So from there, I actually moved to Montreal. And when I moved to Montreal, I met my current trainer, Ian McKillop.
Well,
And I
former pro fighter.
yeah, and I turned pro within a couple months training with him. And yeah, and I turned pro in March of 2017. So it's been about 3 years.
Yeah, Canada is a great boxing, especially Montreal. I
Mhm.
told you before the other day I had the pleasure of broadcasting a bunch of fights up in Montreal and in Gatineau at the Lac LeMay
Yeah.
Casino up there. I don't know if you're how familiar you are with that
Yeah.
area. So I've been
I am
up that
familiar.
way. Talk about the scene up there. At first in Ontario and then Montreal in terms of the boxing scene up there.
I just always found that there was more opportunity in boxing in Montreal. I mean, just more happening here, and especially for females in Ontario, they get like one fight a year. Promoters don't really want to show them, and I had seen that there was actually a local, actually a champion now, Mary-Eve Decaire, who was getting a lot of fights. So I was like,
and she's
hey,
actually
I guess
going to fight.
This is the place
Clarissa.
to be.
She's going to
Yeah.
fight. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually spar with Mary-Eve very often. Yeah, so I came here and just hoping that I was going to get the opportunity that I wanted in the my pro career. So yeah, I feel like it's been more beneficial for me
And
coming here.
you told me you turned pro at one of the great boxing venues. It's definitely North America. At the Bell Center.
No, not in the Bell Center. I actually was
you
in the
fought
Montreal
there.
Casino.
Okay.
Yeah, Montreal Casino. I fought the Montreal Casino 3 or 4 times. But yeah, my pro debut was at the Montreal Casino.
Okay. That's when you told me you turned pro. Okay, I got you. But okay, so there's a lot of great. You mentioned Decaire who's gonna be fighting Clarissa Shields, and obviously you've seen the great fan support that fighters like Pascal and Boutte and Adonis Stevenson, David Lemieux have got over like the last 5-6 years. When you see that and not only they become big draws in Montreal, but they become internationally known world champions. Can you see that for yourself?
Yeah, definitely. The one thing I really have to work on is my French. I feel like that's the only thing that's missing, because like when it comes to promoting fighters here, if you don't speak French, they're a little. But yeah, that's one thing I did. I was actually on the urge of learning, and then I met my wife, who's Mexican, so then I started to learn Spanish, which I speak perfectly now. So now my next
is French.
thing is learning French. Yeah.
Well, if there's any good French teachers out here watching, hit up Jessica.
Yeah,
she's got.
hit me up.
I've
been starting. I've been doing the Duolingo thing.
Well, then you'll be trilingual once you learn French, because you got Spanish and English. I've interviewed a bunch of women fighters over the past couple weeks, and there seems to be now a lot more depth in the women's game at all the divisions than there was several years ago. There are a lot more really, really good fighters now in female fighters now. Is that something you're seeing as well?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like once they have women's boxing in the Olympics, and then there was Katie Taylor and Clarissa Shields that fought in the Olympics, and now they turned pro, they just see the talent that's coming into the women's boxing, and we're just exciting to see.
You're at 100.
And if you give us a chance and, you put us on the same level as the men, I feel like people are going to be surprised. You're going to be shocked.
And you see girls like Clarissa Shields headlining and Cecilia Breakhouse headlining on HBO before they stopped doing boxing, and they said Clarissa Shields fighting, headlining on Showtime and whatnot. So yeah, that's something that really wasn't a big thing here in the United States, and now it's really starting to catch on. You have a potential rival, a couple people you're looking at that 140-pound division that is going to maybe a win over blank takes you to the next level. Fill in the blank.
I don't have anybody in particular that I want to fight. I mean, down the road, I love to fight like Katie Taylor, all the top girls. I feel anybody that my team believes that I'm able to go up against and beat and be competitive with, I'm all for it. I mean, I put all my trust in my team, and I know I'm able to be in there with the top girls and be in championship fights.
I've been asking a lot of the fighters, obviously with this shutdown and everything, when boxing does start back up, fights may come quicker than you would maybe need, maybe be in shape for, because everyone's going to try to get back on as quick as they can. I mean, have you been training enough where if they called you, I mean, obviously it's not going to be tomorrow, whatever, they called you and say, hey, we got something for you in 3, 4, 5 weeks, that's something that you'd be ready for?
Definitely, 100%. I mean, I've been staying in shape. I would just need some sparring rounds, do a few rounds on the mitts, few sessions on the mitts. But I mean, I've been keeping in shape, so
Couple more
definitely ready for a fight.
couple more questions. Where do we find you on social media if the fans out there want to follow the progression of Jessica Camara's career?
The Cobra Camara.
The Cobra.
On Facebook, I'm Jessica Camara. I also have a fan page that I'm not really active on, but Jessica the Cobra Camara. And my Instagram is JCobraC altogether.
What do you want to say in closing to your fans in Canada, the United States, wherever they may be, fans, and maybe get some new fans after this interview? What do you want to tell them? If your final last words.
Well, I just want to tell everyone to stay positive through all of this, and I know we're gonna get out of this crisis, and just to keep an eye out for me, because I know there's going to be a lot of great things happening. I just signed with Team Empire, so I know that Brian is going to have big plans for me in the future, and I'm just excited to see what's going to happen for me and for Team Camara in the future. And I know there's going to be a belt around me soon, so yeah, I'm just excited for all that, and I want my fans to be ready for that.
Well, thank you. We'll definitely be keeping up with the exploits and the progression of your career. And this is the only French I know is bonjour.
Bonjour. That's pretty good. I know a little bit more.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, and we'll have you back on